Reporting back from the traffic forum where we had a great turnout, I went and I advocated for some of your issues. I'll be reporting back to anyone who emailed me any information they wanted taken there with the results that I came back with. We had a lot of great presenters, too many to name individually. Of course, Lisa Kearns and Paul Sharman were there, and they were hosting. I did bump into the mayor briefly, and I also talked with Shauna Stolte, who was also there. Unfortunately, Rory Nissan, Calvin Galbraith, and Angelo Bentavania were absent. A shout out to them though, however, hoping I'll see them soon at another event. The deep dive on traffic is this. We have increased our population steadily for the last 2 decades. We are either outgrowing or outpacing our current capacity to manage traffic. If it were the only the increase in residents, then we would most likely be fine, but we also have one of the busiest transit corridors in North America on our doorstep. We are a major link, a bottleneck. Specifically, the last stop before the bend around the lake, as Sharman likes to frequently point out. Discussions went to the Skyway Bridge. Sudden closures have blindsided the public in the past. One particular Mother's Day nags at the back of my mind. Now, there is a site that will inform travelers about the status of this iconic bridge, burlingtonskyway.ca. Beyond that, there's a lot of talk about light timing regimes that will have us penalizing out-of-city traffic. Ramp closures have also been discussed, but it seems that council doesn't really have an appetite for the chaos that would create. We spent a large portion of the event talking about alternative transit methods. Argo made an appearance with a bus for everyone to look at. I admit at first I was skeptical, but I talked to both co-founders, and they know their business very well. I was impressed with the initial numbers coming out of year 1 of their Bradford pilot. They were able to fit a lot of extra ridership without going outside of the existing transit budget. It looks like a promising addition that could address some of the more sparsely populated areas in the city. Cycling is obviously a major component of any emission reduction plan. The current plans are to avoid directly upgrading roads with cycling components until they are serviced, and the idea is that that's going to reduce the downtime on transit corridors within the city that are being upgraded to have bike lanes. The Halton Regional Police were back, and this time the topic veered into e-bikes and scooters. So there's a lot of concerned members of the community and police representatives, and they both took turns discussing the challenges that exist regarding the regulation and enforcement of rules around these devices. The biggest challenge being that most of the violations of rules surrounding these devices seem to be perpetrated by minors. This limits enforcement options, so Halton Regional Police Service is left with a delicate balance of enforcement and public opinion. Personally, my feeling on this matter is that little Jimmy didn't buy an $8,000 electric motorcycle with the pennies he'd been saving for first grade. Somewhere down the chain of custody, we will find an adult with a credit card, perhaps an overly permissive parent or a cool uncle. Those are the people who need to be held responsible. But I digress. At the end of the night, I consider myself more knowledgeable about the work that our tireless city officials do in the background. The ones on the ground doing the work. When serious questions are asked, they are the ones who come out and explain the process. The most important thing I learned last night I should say, was that the ownership of roads is very important as to who determines the operations of all the signals. That means that we have to have 3 systems, the city, the region, and the MTO, seamlessly working all in lockstep. That probably constitutes the biggest obstacle in our light timing regimes. We cannot experiment because coordination of new light timings has to run through multiple departments, and it can take time. That's all for this update. I'll be sure to keep you posted on all the latest. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.